Hi, in this video we're going to be going over lesson 4.4, multiplying mixed numbers and whole numbers. Before we start, let's just review what a mixed number is. Remember, a mixed number is a number that has a whole number part and a fraction part. So if we look at our problem 6 times 1.5, 1.5 is a mixed number because there's a whole number part and a fractional part. We're going to start by using a model. Now when we multiply a whole number by a mixed number, I like to make a connection to when you were first learning multiplication and you were using equal groups. And so what we're going to do is draw 6 equal groups of 1.5. So you can begin by drawing 6 circles for yourself. Now to represent one whole, we can just draw ourselves a square. And then to represent our half, we can draw our whole, split it into 2 pieces, and shade in one of those 2 pieces. Now I also want to make sure that we shade in our whole as well. So go ahead and do that in each of your 6 circles. Now what we're going to do is take a look at how many wholes we created. Remember, a whole, it was our square that we drew. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to write 6 off to the side so that we know that we created 6 wholes. And let's take a look at our fractional parts we have left. We have 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2, 6/2. So we have 6 and 6/2. However, we can't leave 6/2 because it is an improper fraction. But if we take a look at 6/2, that is equal to 3, because remember, our fraction bar is like a division symbol, and so 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So really, we have 6 wholes plus 3 wholes. Therefore, our answer to 6 times 1.5 would be equal to 9. Now we're going to take a look at how to multiply mixed numbers and whole numbers without using a model. Now to start, we need to change our mixed number into an improper fraction. And the way that we're going to do that is by doing what I like to call a little fraction cartwheel. So to do that, we're going to take our denominator and we're going to multiply it by our whole number. And then we're going to add that to our numerator. So if you can visualize, it's like you're going in a circle in the motion of doing a cartwheel. So we multiply 3 times 2, we get 6, and then we add 6 to 1, and we get 7. So our fraction becomes 7/3. Now another way of thinking of it is that 2 is equal to 6/3 because 1 whole is equal to 3/3. And so we're doing 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 1/3. And 3 plus 3 plus 1 equals 7. So that's why our little shortcut works. Then let's take a look at 5. We want to change 5 into a fraction. Now, whenever you have a whole number, your denominator is going to become 1. So 5 is going to change into 5 over 1. The reason that we use 1 as our denominator is because, remember, our denominator tells us how many parts there are in one whole, and so 5 over 1 means that we have 5 wholes that are each made up of one part. Now we can go ahead and multiply just like we have done in the past few lessons. If we check first to see if we can simplify, we look at the diagonals. 7 and 1 we can't simplify, and 3 and 5 we can't simplify. So we're just going to go ahead and multiply straight across. 7 times 5 is equal to 35, and 3 times 1 is equal to 3. So now we have 35 thirds as our answer, but it's an improper fraction, so we want to make sure that we go ahead and change that into a mixed number. We think of how many groups of 3 will fit into 35. I know that 3 times 11 is 33, and 3 times 12 is 36. So 3 fits into 35 11 times without going over. And since 3 times 11 is 33, and I'm trying to get to 35, we have 2/3 left over. So 11 and 2/3 is our final answer. We're going to take a look at one more example of multiplying a mixed number by a whole number. This time I want you to go ahead and pause the video and see if you can change the mixed number into an improper fraction and solve, and then check your work with my work to see if you got the right answer. Alright, we're going to start by doing our fraction cartwheel. So remember, we're going to take our denominator and multiply it by our whole number, and then we're going to add that number to our numerator. So we're going to do 8 times 4, which is 32, and add 1, which is 33. We keep our same denominator of 8. And then we're multiplying it by 2. Remember, when we have a whole number, our denominator is going to be 1. I'm going to go and check to see if I can simplify. I know that 2 and 8 both have 2 in common, so I'm going to simplify that. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now this is going to help give us some smaller numbers to work with. When we go and multiply across, 33 times 1 equals 33, and 4 times 1 equals 4. So now we have 33 fourths, which we need to change back into a mixed number. 4 fits into 32 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32, which means that we have 1/4 left over. Now sometimes your numerator is going to be quite large, and you're not necessarily going to be able to do the math in your head like we were able to do with 33 fourths. And so in that case, you would want to use long division. So I'm just going to show us how we could use long division if we wanted to as a strategy. So I do 33 divided by 4. 4 fits into 33 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. We subtract. 33 minus 32 is 1. We check. There's nothing else we need to bring down. So our remainder is 1. However, since we're dealing with fractions, we're going to take our remainder and turn it into a fraction. Now we look at our remainder is going to become our numerator, and then our divisor is going to be our denominator, because this tells us how many parts there are in one whole. So when we interpret our answer of a long division problem, we have our whole number, we take our remainder, and that becomes our numerator, and then we take our divisor, and that becomes our denominator. So that would be how we could use long division to get the same answer, 8 1/4.